To the High School Star League 2015 Grand Finals, brought to you in part by our friends at Twitch and Newegg. My name is Seth Achilles King. With me on the desk is, of course, Seamus Seamus Anderson, and we are getting ready to get into our second game of this best of three series. It's Temple City versus Forest Park. Temple City now up 1-0, looking for one more win, and they'll move on to the Grand Finals tomorrow.
Yeah, Temple City had a very solid game, a couple of mistakes, but they're definitely looking like they want to take this series 2-0. We'll see how Forest Parks adjust, maybe ban the Ziggs, maybe buy a couple of different items. Either way, we will see. We should be getting into the champ select. I think I hear the music right now.
Yeah.
And we do see the bands are ready. Oh, Forest Park, excuse me, Temple City is on the left side now. So they're actually respecting the Oriana, which is good too. It was a great pick.
Yeah, so taking that one away from Swimbirds, who, despite the one whiff in like that first fight around the river area, had fantastic ones from there on out. The shockwaves were very much on point. That almost game-changing fight in the Baron Pit was so well executed by them, and that's the thing that has to be taken into consideration moving forward in this game. Is that Forest Park played a little poorly in the beginning. You know, we won't really sugarcoat it. The CS numbers weren't there. They got picked out here and there. The red buff getting stolen away from Porcupine certainly didn't help at all either. But they've shown that they can play as a cohesive unit, within this team, and can really excel in a team fight environment. So, if they get the tools necessary to kind of bring that kind of fight to the forefront again, they might be able to win this and tie the series up.
Yeah, they definitely can. And again, this is Temple City is on the left side. They have first pick, and they also banned it least, which is really interesting because I honestly don't know if Porcupine Pillow. He had a lot of presence. But I don't know if Least was the best choice, but they're respecting that as well, and they take that away while they hover over the Evelyn. And Panther Lily had 17 out of 18 kill participation, I think, last game. It was very high.
He was very impactful with that Evelyn, so not too surprising to see that one grabbed up yet again. But there he is.
Gragas.
Yeah, Gragas has made it through. This was banned out in the last game, so we will see this one coming into play this time. And this could be a bit more of a comfort pick for Porcupine. It didn't really look like he wanted to be on that Elise, the way that he was playing it. It didn't look like it was very comfortable for him. He wasn't able to find the groove that was necessary to excel on it. And maybe with this Gragas, something that's been in the meta for a much longer time, he might be able to play this a bit better.
Well, that's the thing. Porcupine Pillow doesn't have Gragas games, at least for his top 5 champions in solo queue. He doesn't have many Gragas games, so as well as Elise. So if you're going from one comfort pick, I mean, I hope he has practice, because with Cinderhole, Gragas is very, very strong still. But I want to touch on the fact that Sadwall, they picked away Sivir. Another friend of mine and I were just talking about, the picks. Sivir wasn't taken in the first rotation by Temple City. However, she was such a great part in the engage and disengage that they had that game. So I really like the fact that they take it away, because taking away the Sivir when the enemy team has an Evelyn is just not only for engage, but also disengage. If an Evelyn sneaks up on you and your team is grouped up and you have a Sivir, you're just like, boom, run out of there, and you're fine.
Yeah, so definitely good to take that one out. I want to see what Temple City's going to pick up as far as their AD carry goes to kind of counteract that one. We saw the Tristana wasn't very impactful. Of course, that Spell Shield can eat the Buster Shot, you can eat the explosive charges. You can eat either the application of the explosive charge or the explosion of it. Yeah. So it's a really safe pick. Looks like the Jinx is getting hovered here, though, for John. Might want to go for that one. So interesting selection. Ziggs, of course, still on the board. And Zud played that one so well. That Rylai's build coming out, he might revisit that one.
Last game, Fizz was banned by Temple City.
Yes.
Because Porcupine Pillow has played a lot of Fizz. This game, they're picking it, and we're going to see Zud on these Ziggs again. So this is going to be a top lane Fizz for Captain Nuke and a mid lane Ziggs. And then, of course, the Evelyn for Temple City. Yep. That's pretty similar to what their composition was like before, except they don't have a Sivir now. Yeah,
and you mentioned, we have mentioned before that Captain Nuke loves these carry top lanes. He played that Hecarim pretty well, but now with this Fizz going to be hyper aggressive going into what seems to be the Lulu.
This is
for Sadwall.
You know what this comp is? This is a 2-carry super protect comp.
Yep.
Disengage, shields, HP buffs,
wild growth,
more disengage, more disengage. You have Janna for double disengage, and then shield, slowdowns. You have the Gragas cask. I mean, there's just so many ways for Forest Park to pick their fights. And it's a bit of a difference from what we've seen in the HSL and last game when they go for Wombo. Let's see if they can pull this off.
Yeah, this is the team composition that we saw in the LCS when Kog'Maw started coming back in as an AD carry. You run that Lulu with the Janna and just make him almost unkillable. Of course, that could work either way for both Swimbirds on this Kog'Maw or Vodex on that Sivir. But they're still going to have to be quite respectful of the damage that Johan will be able to output on this Jinx. He played fantastically on the Sivir, didn't have the largest kill count, but was participating in the fights and really just pumping out damage from the back line and being overall quite effective. So we'll see how he plays this time around. Now has a global presence with that Super Mega Death Rocket. So two near global abilities on the side of Temple City. That could become quite impactful in the game moving forward. So Forest Park's going to have to be very conscious of that.
Right, there's a lot of protection for Forest Park, but I mean, just like you said, Ziggs and Jinx are both champions that can do damage from a very far range away. So it's going to be up to, I'd like to see better positioning from Forest Park's carries, because that's definitely something that I felt last game was a bit of the reason why they started falling behind. That being said, though, we'll be in the game just a couple of moments. First, do you think we'll see any like level 1 strategies from these teams? The Evelyn's pretty weak, and Gragas is actually fairly strong early game. Plus, you have that Kog'Maw Ooze. Level 1 from Forest Park is fairly strong.
It's certainly stronger than that of Temple Cities, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to really warrant any type of invasive play.
The thing is,
the Howling Gale offers a decent amount of CC, but I just don't know if they'd be able to layer it well enough and get the damage out that they would need.
Well, if we think back to last game, Panther Lily actually stole the Smite. And the game ended up being it's sort of parity for about 10 minutes there. Panther Lily, I'm curious to see if Forest Park is sort of going to at least defensively do anything so that way that situation doesn't happen again. But for now, it looks like we're just going to have the line of scrimmage. Sadwell, he's going to be on this top lane, Lulu, but he's actually hovering around the bot side. So let's see if this is actually potentially a lane swap, since Vodcavs and Wonderboy, they might start this red.
Yeah, and seeing that swap come out would actually be pretty interesting and would really be advantageous for Forest Park, because Captain Nuke on that Fizz will not be able to see, CS very effectively. Melee champion, be very reliant on the playful trickster to kind of just jump in, jump out, get that CS. But even then, it wouldn't net him too much. So this could be a very smart play from the side of Forest Park if they do commit to this.
Yeah, not only because lane swaps are generally a way to throw your opponents off in general, but Forest Park claims to be the best lane swapping team in these final 4 teams, and they said they did it for almost all of their start of the games. So it could definitely be something that's effective, get those Krugs and go into that top lane. That being said, though, do you want to give Jinx all of this free farm? I mean, Lulu's going to be able to CS a much, much better than Fizz, but having a Jinx just have a free lane is going to be an issue for Forest Park. So I'm curious to see how these lanes pan out.
Yeah, well, if they are indeed the masters of the lane swap, I'm sure they've taken that into consideration. So time will tell. See Captain Nuke actually opting to go for a Wolf Camp, get him that added CS before he goes up into that 2v1. They are going to be aware of that, obviously, as Sivir and Janna have both shown themselves.
And he did that without wards. He just knew. And Panther Lily might go for another steal.
Yeah, he does not want to go in on this one, though. It is a double jungle here from Sadwell and Porcupine, so decides to peel right back out of there. Doesn't even drop a ward for his trouble. Goes straight back into his jungle. So overall, a little bit of time wasted by Panther Lily.
Yeah, that being said, though, he still has his potions. He's going to be able to smite out the red. We see a ward in the blue. It's going to time out for Temple City, so Forest Park might be able to make plays in that area. A little bit of trading in the mid lane. Both laners about equal HP. The Flask start versus Doran's Ring. It's pretty interesting because Cog definitely has a lot of harass, and I feel like this matchup is a little bit skill-based, but Flask is just such a great item.
Yeah.
I mean, so much HP and mana regen, and Kog'Maw is definitely one of those champions that only gets better with time. So I really don't fault him for taking a conservative start.
Yeah, definitely not. And you can't expect to go super aggressive against that Ziggs early on. Post 6, perhaps, because when Swimbirds will be able to throw out that living artillery to really try to poke out that Ziggs, but early on just not going to be able to match the damage and harass output. So just going to start pretty simply in that regard. You can see Sadwell is going to go ahead and have a good start already up in CS compared to Captain Nuke.
I think we just saw Panther Lily go to his buff, and Wonderboy and Vodcaps were going around in the area, so these teams are definitely feeling each other out. I mean, this is starting to look like similar to last game, where both teams were very, very patient with their early game strategy. Until God, he's now going to help Captain Nuke with the Fizz in the top lane. He has a couple of potions, and there's also going to be the Alistar and the Targon sustain. So this Fizz is doing just fine as far as farm is concerned. And I remember you were touching on the CS gap between these two teams in game number 1 was a bit of an issue. And we immediately see the CS Swimbirds. He's starting to fall a teeny bit behind. Just one.
Yeah, just one CS. So still very close. All of the laners doing very well. Sadwall is actually the one who's starting to garner himself a little bit of a lead. We can see Captain Nuke is roaming back down as we will reset and get that 2v2 up in the top side of the map between these AD carries and supports. But with this advantage that Sadwall is starting to accrue for himself, that could really help him come out on top of Captain Nuke, who, of course, is not running Flash. He's going to be reliant on Playful Trickster to get himself to safety, so that does make him a bit more susceptible to ganks, especially, susceptible to somebody like Porcupine, who has post-6 that explosive cast. He's got that Flash body slam potential, can really lock down somebody like Fizz once he uses that Playful Trickster.
Yeah, and the fact that Captain Nuke went for the longsword is probably going to be into a Eternity Forge. I mean, it's a little bit of aggressive, a little bit of cocky pick. He knows he'll be safe. We actually missed a bit of a gank in the mid lane. Potential gank. Zud did not blow any summoners out, and he still has potions, so no real issue. And 5 minutes in, gold is pretty much even. However...
Oh, this is Porcupine in a very bad spot. Body Slam should take him to safety, and it does. The Bouncing Bomb connects, but...
No level 6.
Yeah, no level 6 for Zud. Not going to be able to throw out that Mega Inferno Bomb. So Porcupine will just go ahead and have to back off pretty soon here. Meanwhile, that bot lane, Sadwall in a very bad spot. Potions rolling, though. Keep him alive. Captain Nuke playing very aggressively. No TP available either for Sadwall. It's going to be a long walk back to the lanes.
Oh, man.
Oh, Porcupine. Good flash over the wall. Will take him to safety. Smite as well to get that heal out and take away the large raptor, but... more summoner spells being burned out from Forest Park as they get just caught out in bad situations.
Yep, minor advantages for both the jungler and the top lane for Temple City. We'll see if those lack of flashes end up being a snowball. Swimbirds, he's going to take a little bit of damage here, but he should be just fine. Can they get the minion? No. But so far, if you're down in, or excuse me, they're not down in farm, they don't have their summoners, but that means Temple City, they have to take advantage of these 2 flashes being down. Because otherwise, I mean, if the summoner just comes up and you haven't done anything, then that's not a real advantage.
Yeah, and even so, Sadwall has gotten back into the lane, only down 5 CS. And that's going to be the recall coming up from Captain Nuke as well, so he should be able to push this tower, maybe crash it, crash the wave into that turret and deny some CS and have himself a little bit of a lead here. We'll see what he decides to do. Looks like he's going to opt to try to maybe freeze the lane. He's not looking to shove it forward aggressively.
Yeah, Vodcavs and Wonderboy, they're just about even farm, but Vodcavs is very low on mana.
Yeah.
It's hard against an Alistar and a Jinx. I mean, other than that zap, there's nothing really easy to spell shield unless you just predict the Alistar combo. But so far, I mean, they'll be okay. But I have to say, Temple City, we saw the lane swaps in Forest Park, and Temple City just reacted by lane swapping back. That was, for a team that hyped their lane swap up, that was kind of lame. Would have liked to see a little bit more strategy, a bit more sauce, instead of just kind of 7 minutes, 30 seconds in. Well, if we go on the same timeline of last game, we should have crazy explosive battle until that finish. So yeah, I'm waiting till then.
Right after a game disconnect.
Hey, we had no game disconnects for the start of the game, so I think we're good this time.
Yeah, hopefully that does not happen. Gold's still very close, only 200 separating both of these teams. The First Blood would spell a decent victory in either direction, depending on who is able to pick that one up. CS across the board still being so close.
Yeah, you know, Achilles, I honestly think once again, Forest Park actually have the better late game.
Yes.
They have the Ziggs, they have multiple, I mean, they don't have multiple tanks. They have a Gragas who basically counts as multiple tanks, but they have a late game Ziggs who's going to be able to do more consistent damage, and they're just going to be able to, I mean, it's against Panther Lily and Captain Nuke on Eve and Fizz. Those are pseudo tanks. The only real tank on Temple City is that Gragas, and a Kog'Maw is going to be shredding through it. So Forest Park are probably content once again simply to farm, and they're also doing a better job of farming this game so far.
Yeah, especially compared to that last game. You can see level 7 mark has been hit by these mid laners. That's going to be the start of the real harass coming out. Of course, Swimbirds on that Cogwall, going to get that Tear of the Goddess, going to delay the damage output for a bit here. Yeah, meanwhile, Zud, needlessly large rod, first item, not too surprising after what we saw him do last game.
Yep, and especially in this case against the Zig, it's going to be very aggressive. We see Wonderboy going for the Zephyr there. The big power spike for a Kog'Maw is going to be once he gets that Luden's Echo and the Sword Boots. So I'd like to see Zud and Co. make a play before that happens because, like you said, the Tear of the Goddess, I mean, you're not getting any combat stats from that other than that mana. So for now, Zud is definitely going to be able to out-trade, and as a result, we see Porcupine around here. I'm not sure if we saw any wards go down or if they just figure he might be around. But Zud picked up his blue buff.
Yeah, so both of these mid laners going to have that blue buff. That's going to help Swimbirds out, you know, just stacking that tier even faster. Quite a bit going to be able to throw out those ultimates constantly.
Ooh,
Porcupine, yeah, roams up to the top side. They will go ahead, spot out that ward, be able to clear it out. They throw down the pink.
Is he going to
Chomper's coming across. Johan just wants nothing to do with the fat man. Says, you know, Porcupine, get out of my lane.
Yeah, so I'm not sure Wonderboy if they were actually planning on, was that just going to be presence in the lane, or was that supposed to be an actual gank? Because Vodcaps has a slight minion lead, or excuse me, deficit, and we saw that the pink ward actually came after Porcupine Pillow had walked through the Tri-Brush. Yeah. For now, though, he's going to recall. One wave is going to crash, and still, this is kind of slow.
Yeah, definitely a much more slow and methodical game from both sides, and this is to be expected. Temple City, they want this 2-0 victory to move on to the finals tomorrow. Forest Park, they want to tie up and take this to a third game set.
Yep.
So don't want to misstep, get too antsy, and really lose out.
Yeah, Panther Lily, he's completed his jungle item and is a little bit ahead in terms of farm, whereas Porcupine, he is still trying to complete that.
Oh, that's going to be the engage on the top side. That's going to be Vodcaps taking a lot of damage. The Spell Shield will eat that Chomper, but the teleport's coming across. The Sidewall's joining the fray. Unbreakable popped on a Tilgod. He will walk out alive. That should just be the general disengage from both sides. No one going down.
So that's a flash for a teleport trade. However, Porcupine Pillow is going to be able to farm this wave. So I would actually say that's worth... Oh, they're going for this dragon. Never mind. This is a good play. Porcupine, there was a big wave in the bot lane, so Porcupine wanted to keep that alive. But as a result, he didn't even think of a potential dragon steal. And that is free dragon #1 to Temple City.
Yeah, and that is going to be quite nice as the game moves on. Right now at this point, not too impactful. 6% ADAP is not going to scale very well when you don't have, you know, a ton. These guys have pretty much less than 100, you know, around 100 each. So it won't be too terribly impactful, but Forest Park definitely going to have to make a play for the next dragon, because in those 6 minutes, it's going to be that much more impactful. You can see Sadwall now has rotated up to that top side. They're going to go ahead and put the 2v1 in the bot lane, see if Vodcats can go up against Captain Nuke and have some success here.
The thing is, I'm pretty sure Temple City are just going to respond the same way that they did before and just rotate Captain Nuke back to the top lane. Oh, Panther Lily is going to be spotted out.
He throws out the ultimate, the Satchel Charge, not in a position to knock Swimbirds back in, but he takes a lot of damage anyway. Bouncing bombs ripping through him. That's that needlessly large rod on Ziggs, just dueling work. He's still playing quite far forward. Ooh. Takes another bouncing bomb. That's going to be the ultimate. It doesn't even matter. The super mega death rocket from the bot lane takes him out.
Would you have expected that? Swimbird certainly did not die without even using his summoners. A little bit of a look onto the Jinx, picking up the first blood now. That was, I didn't expect the first blood to be in that fashion.
Yeah, me neither. The Mega Inferno Bomb, certainly a given to be thrown out, but still have to remember that second global pressure that can be applied from Johan. And
you know,
Swimbird's, it lapses his thoughts and he gets taken down by it.
It's crazy because that was not an easy play. We saw, you know, that skill shot connected, but Johan had to fire that a couple of seconds before, and Zud had to have the confidence. He had to know that that was going to connect, and that just shows me that Temple City have such trust in each other as teammates. With that first blood now, 13 minutes in, they have a little bit over 1,000 gold lead. We see Johan actually has Avarice Blade, so he's going to be accruing gold faster than Vodcavs. Are Temple City just going to keep making those global plays happen? Because I feel like that might be the game plan here. But Tiltgod, he's going on to Wonderboy. Porcupine in the area.
Yeah, it certainly could work for their advantage. Wonderboy wants to finish off that pink ward. One more hit from dead Tiltgod, doing everything that he can to hold on to it. Looks like They will let that one go as to get the close-up on him in the brush.
And Panther Lily, he's now spotted out, or at least he's down there. Oh, we missed Sadwall getting forced to use his ult. That's ult traded, though.
Yeah, ult for ult. So Sadwall keeps himself alive, gets a bit of HP on top
low
of
on
that
mana.
one. Yeah, low on mana and falling ever so slightly behind in this CS game. You see 93 to 83, where before he was actually quite comfortably ahead. Now not going to be looking quite as good. Panther Lily going to invade and try to take away this red buff, but Porcupine is wandering his way in. We'll see if he goes straight for it. He is wandering over here, sees it go down, so he will have at least timer on it, but now Panther Lily roaming up to that top side. Sadwall should be aware that he's in the area, and looks like he's going to go ahead and peel back, maybe recall and buy.
Yeah. At the moment, Porcupine might have been able to 1v1 Panther Lily, especially because he was low, but since the Fizz was Mia, good communication there from Sadwall to make sure that he doesn't try to go for that 2v1 fight. And Johan actually took quite a bit of damage in this bot lane.
Yep. And this is what's going to happen. They're trading evenly in CS, so Johan is netting himself more gold because of that Avarice Blade, but Vodcavs is able to out-trade him because he has the BF sword and the pickaxe. So he's sitting on, I believe, 15 more AD.
25. Right? Pickaxe, yeah, 25.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I forgot the Avarice Blade actually doesn't give.
Yeah, it's just crit chance and gold.
Yeah. So yeah, 25 up. So that's pretty significant. So that will certainly help him moving forward here. But with all of this extra gold, Johan's just going to be able to get that many more aggressive items on the next back.
Yeah, and the thing is, Vodcavs, he's low on mana, and we haven't seen Tiltgod actually ever really go aggressive, so they're never letting him regen. If you want to play aggressively and you want to use the attack damage advantage you have, I don't know. Johan, that was a really smart zap onto Wonder Boy instead of Vodcavs, because Sipper isn't going to be able to make any plays without her mana bar. She needs it for the ultimate. I mean, she needs it to harass too, and as a result, they're forced to recall, even though they had fine HP.
Yeah, and this is actually really smart by Johan. He's using his rockets to harass Vodcavs from a range, and obviously the rockets cannot be eaten by that spell shield, so they're essentially just starving out the Sivir by not using any of their abilities to harass. So really intelligent play coming across there. We can see actually Tiltgod and Panther Lily playing very far forward in the enemy jungle, wrapping around to this mid lane. They might be looking to go for a dive. That pink ward is pretty well placed. They're going to spot Panther Lily right there.
Oh,
and
man.
Here comes Porcupine around the side, gets that body slam, throws down the barrel, but he's already down to half HP. The teleport coming across from Sadwall as well. They might want to engage this. The Mega Inferno Bomb and the Death Rocket connects. Swinburns is down below half HP. Tiltgod gets slowed up.
He should be dead.
Flashes out. He could go down. That's going to be the snipe. Sadwall finishes him off with an auto attack. Very nice kill picked up by Forest Park.
Well done, Porcupine with the bait there. It looked like a 1v2, but the teleport coming in as well. I'm surprised. Captain Nuke, he's not countered these teleports and sort of left the rest of his team alone. That being said, as a result, he has a slight gold advantage, but this is now a kill over to Forest Park. It brings the gold lead a little bit closer. Dragon is up in 20 seconds, and at the moment, it seems like both teams have recalled, so we won't see a quick Dragon, but I think we might see another fight, and teleport advantage over to Temple City for the moment, with first turret of the game going down.
Yep, TP. Or the turret going to go down. Captain Nuke, like you said, did not use the teleport, so stays in, just applies that lane pressure and nets himself that much more of a CS lead. Now 1.6 thousand in favor of Temple City. Second Dragon of the game has spawned. Forest Park certainly going to want to take some action to try to net that one for themselves. Porcupine on the roam down, but it's going to be a recall out from Wonder Boy. Ill-timed here.
I'm not sure he should do it. I don't know how much gold he has if he really needs to buy a significant item. Oh,
yeah,
Sadwall.
Sadwall on this top side. Very, very low. The Wild Growth had been used. Chum the water as well. No Ignite coming across from Captain Nuke. Wasn't sure if he would get that fatal damage. Now Wonder Boy getting locked down. The Monsoon comes across, but I don't think it's going to save his life at all, nor will it save Vodcavs as he is on the run. Porcupine showing up, though. That will keep them alive, but with that pressure being applied on both the AD carry and the support, it's just Porcupine in the area to try to stave off this potential Dragon take.
This early game has been so matched. I mean, the junglers have almost always been in the same area, and Captain Nuke keeps trying to get those kills onto Sadwall, but hasn't been able to so far. That is the On the Hunt and Monsoon down, like you said, and Wonder Boy also flashed to make the big knockback happen. Oh, Captain Nuke. A little bit low there.
Yeah, getting chunked out. Has to play carefully, out of mana as well. So he runs back down. He will go ahead and recall. You can see this Trinity Force near completion. Should be finished off here if he's got the gold for it, which I believe he does. There it is.
As well as teleport.
Will be picked up. So that is a very deadly fizz all of a sudden. That big key item being completed out for him. We'll see where he wants to take this build from here. We've seen fizzes go, more of bruiser build, but sometimes they want to go that full damage. Looks like he will pick up a null magic mantle, so he's going to be trying to negate a bit of that poke that Sadwall has been able to apply on him.
That's actually really good that he's going for MR because there's 3 significant AP threats on Forest Park, and the only attack damage that Forest Park have is Vodcavs, who's technically considered a utility AD carry. I mean, Sipper can do a lot of damage, but it looks like we're going to see a Dragon start, and is this going to be a fight? That's a lot of poke on Panther.
This is 5 men on the Dragon. It's down to half HP. The teleport coming in the pit from Captain Nuke. Again, Inferno Bomb is down. Tilt God taking a bit of damage. Unbreakable Will is not available for him. Whoa. Dragon still quite low. Captain Nuke now poked down. Porcupine playing forward. Can he get the smite off of this one? Looks like he will be able to take it. No, it's getting taken away by Captain Nuke as they find themselves a second Dragon. Now the fight is broken out. Sadwall goes down. Wonder Boy and Swimbird's in the pit, though. Trying to find some kills, but they're just going to get engaged on. Panther Lily with an odd flash will find a kill all the same. It's a double kill going over to Zud. So far, a 4 for 2. Vodcavs has to force the flash to get out. Swimbirds does find himself a double kill, but that is Temple City walking away with the Dragon and 4 kills.
Yeah, the slightest bit of hesitation from Forest Park. Do we start the Dragon? Do we try and fight? What do we do? And we saw the Gragas ultimate come out. We're going to go to a replay really quick, and we just see they're all very low, but both teams are low, and there's a lot of pokes. Nice Jinx ultimate, and Captain Nuke just goes absolutely ham, picks up the Dragon and the kill, and there's just really not enough damage. Swimbirds is low on HP as well as mana. The blue isn't going to be enough, and that's going to be the 4 for 2, like you said, as well as the Dragon. So, man, it could have been, if it was a cohesive call, if they had just said, guys, we're going to do this, they would have been able to take the Dragon or take the fight. Yeah. But we need to see more synergy from Forest Park if they want to make a risky call like that.
Yeah, and it's, again, we've seen them have that team synergy, but it just lapses here in such a crucial moment. They lose the Dragon. Porcupine going too far out, not able to get the smite off. Losing that to Captain Nuke's Fizz for the confirmation. Just not good for Forest Park. Now 2 Dragons in the pocket of Temple City, and that gold lead, where before it was almost non-existent, about, a mere 1,000 gold separating them, it's now almost 5,000.
Yeah, the thing is, you can be a good team, but if you're not a good team consistently, you're not a great team. And Forest Park, if they want to advance, if they want to come back in this series, they need to be a great team. They need to find that consistency in that shot calling. And it looks like, for the moment, they want to group up mid, but against Zud and Johan, who's completed his shift as well.
Whoa. On the hunt is popped. Vodcav's taken quite low. They try to get Johan, but they actually just knock him out with the explosive cask. So a lot used by Forest Park, and they don't net anything from it.
Captain Nuke is looking for a flank. However, they have pinged him out. Good pink ward placement there. It's actually been there for quite a bit, if I'm not mistaken. Vodcavs, they tried to make a play, and they did get the 80 carries flash, especially good since Jinx is so immobile. However, for now, it's going to be another lull in the action. A couple of critical item spikes to look at. Zud, he's completed both Fiends as well as Rabadons, and the Ludens on the side of the AP Kog'Maw. So Forest Park, like you said, they're behind a good amount. This is definitely not a great position to be in. However, they still have a good comp. They scale well into the late game, and it seems like they want to make proactive plays, so they definitely can still come back here.
Yeah, they're down, but certainly not out. It's just 22.5 minutes in, and they have those massively scaling carries. Swimbirds, he's 2-2-1, pretty much the most well-off member of Forest Park's team at the given moment. If he can continue that and at least break even, the Kog'Maw will start out trading. Now, Wonder Boy in a bad spot gets pulverized up. The bouncing bomb will not connect, so he only takes a little bit of damage.
So we're going to see the siege from Temple.
Oh, Vodcav's in a very bad spot. The exhaust comes across from good measure. Panther Lily finds that kill, and that is just the 80 carry of Forest Park in a bad spot at the wrong time. Sadwall getting engaged on the top side. Will have to burn the flash. The Ignite comes across, but he's got that help pick shield to keep himself alive. But good pressure by Captain Nuke. Meanwhile, Tilt God going deep in this mid lane. The Mega Inferno Bomb just rips through. Porcupine goes down. Panther Lily finding that kill. That's going to be the Super Mega Death Rocket burned out, as well as Wonder Boy almost goes down. He will walk away with his life, though, and this is going to be fantastic pressure in the mid lane by Temple City.
Absolutely. The reason why Forest Park prioritized Alistar in the last draft of the first game was because he's so good at doing everything, especially diving turrets. They caught the Sivir, who is a primary wave clearer for Forest Park, and as a result, they felt completely content to dive. They pick up the turret as well, and now they have a almost 8,000 gold lead, 7,500 gold lead, as well as 2 dragons at the name. Whoa, Sadwall getting some damage onto Captain Nuke. He doesn't have flash, though. It's up in about... Nope, it's not up for a while, so he's not going to be able to chase. But, Forest Park, what are you going to do now?
Well, you can see the teleport's actually going to come across here into this blue pit, but they can't find anything. So, yet again, another major summoner spell just burned out with nothing to gain from it.
Yep, it's teleport down. Honestly, teleport being down isn't incredibly significant if the enemy can't split push and force your top laner to address that. But a Fizz with Trinity Force and the workings of a Blade of the Rune King is going to be fantastic at split pushing. We've seen the 2 top laners go at it the entire time, and Sadwell now, he's not going to be able to respond. That being said, since members of Temple City did go ahead and recall this, middle turret's going to have taken a lot of damage. It hasn't gone down yet, though, in Forest Park. They are still aching to find that avenue back into this match.
Yeah, but they're going to have to play much cleaner than they currently are if they want to find that avenue. So far, just been unable to do so, and we can see this gold lead has stretched so much since the last time that we checked in on it, nearly at 8,000 in favor of Temple City. And even with the scaling that Forest Park have under their belt, it's just looking to become a pretty insurmountable amount of gold. You can see Captain Nuke is still just getting miles and miles ahead of Sadwall. Now, Wonder actually taking a lot of damage.
Rocket.
That Mega Inferno Bomb almost finishing him off. Nice juke back. We'll dodge out the rocket. So, acknowledging that global pressure still, but just a lot of damage coming across, and can Forest Park deal with it? Even with this Janna, a fairly safe and protective choice, just not able to keep Swimbirds and Vodcavs alive. And now we can see the 3rd dragon of the game going quite cleanly over to Temple City.
Yeah, Temple City, they didn't pick up a kill, so nice, I guess, awareness from Wonder Boy to not go down there. But the thing is, since Porcupine Pillar wasn't in the area, Wonder Boy was forced to recall as well. That is going to be the dragon number 3 now. Ooh, Sadwall.
Oh, Chum the Waters in this top side. Sadwall already down to half HP. The Wild Growth comes across. I don't think he's getting out of this one alive. One more auto attack does the trick. Captain Nuke finds the solo kill in the top lane.
Captain Nuke, if at first you don't succeed, try again. I feel like we've seen the top lane fight like 4 or 5 times without Sadwall going down, but he finally does, and Temple City are looking like they want to snowball this game. Johan in the bot lane doing a lot of damage to this turret, and it's now a 8,500 gold lead. Inch by inch, Temple City are accruing these advantages, and Forest Park is going to scale well, but they are dozens of thousands of dollars, or gold, excuse me, away from coming back and hitting that 6-item power spike that they want this Kog'Maw and Sivir to have.
Yeah, and we can see yet again a big discrepancy between these AD carries. Johan up 44 CS, has the static shift completed with the Bilgewater Cutlass. Vodcap still working on the static shiv, just the Infinity Edge being shared between these two. The goal difference between these AD carries is absolutely enormous. Wonder Boy being taken down a half HP yet again in his own jungle, will get himself to safety this time, but it's just so much damage on the side of Temple City, and it seems like Forest Park, even with this protective composition, just cannot deal with it. Sadwall continually getting pushed out of his lane in that top side by Captain Nuke by himself. Vodcav's getting blown up and caught out of position in his own jungle. It's just a really rough game here for Forest Park.
Yeah, Forest Park, the reason why we don't see hyperscaling comps played in every game of League of Legends is because if the hyperscaling composition falls behind early, it is so hard to come back. The only person that can walk in Forest Park's jungle from their squad without really being afraid of getting caught out and dying is Porcupine Pillow. And that just limits the amount of plays they can make, because yes, Gragas is an okay champion at engaging, and yes, with the Sivir ult, they're going to be able to engage. But Temple City have just run absolute train. Johan,
look at this. Vodcav's getting burned down to half HP. Johan
crits
has that rocket ready to roll. Doesn't even need it. The crits come through. Johan taking down Vodcav's in that solo kill.
The critical hit on the ship proc. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Huge damage. Meanwhile, Sad Wall, the Wild Growth's already out. He is going to go down. Captain Nuke just making quick work of this Lulu yet again.
Captain Nuke once again getting the solo kill, and it looks like Forest Park are simply outclassed at this point. It's not going to be like an 11,000, 10,000 goal lead. These numbers are even too hard for me to really calculate them at this point, Achilleos. It hasn't even been 30 minutes.
Oh, Johan almost goes down. Porcupine throws out the explosive cask, not able to find the kill and just knocks him away. The Mega Inferno Bomb comes across. Wonder Boy, he will walk out with a fraction of his HP. The rocket is available, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get that lineup that he's looking for. Turned down to half HP. Tilt God taking a bit of damage. Unbreakable Will does come across, but meanwhile, Captain Nuke has just been shoving in this top lane and working down this tower.
Yeah, they tried to make a play happen with Porcupine Pillow looking for an engagement, but they just couldn't make it happen. This is going to be, I mean, I don't like calling games when, so like 30 minutes is a very fast game, and I feel like we're still going to be in this game for a while, but I just don't see many ways for Forest Park to come back in this situation.
Yeah, neither do I. They don't have that wombo combo potential that they had in the last game. And, you know, without that type of engage, I don't know if they're going to be able to do too much here. The poke game is not paying off. Swimbirds is really the last bastion of hope, I feel, for Forest Park. But even then, it's a damn near impossible task to be able to carry this team back from this much of a deficit. He has the Seraph's Embrace. He has the Luden's Echo with a needlessly large rod on top of that. But it's still just not enough when the rest of your team just gets caught out.
Yeah, I'm really glad he brought it up because Swimbirds, I mean, he's had a pretty good game, and he's at a point where the Kog'Maw is going to be doing a lot of damage. And actually, Temple City don't even have that much magic resistance, man. They don't have the Aegis completed, but the thing is they've been rotating and finding the fights when Swimbird wasn't in the area, so they are effectively neutralizing it, and they're going for a Baron, and I think unlike last game, this is going to go over pretty clean. Yeah,
and look at that vision control. You see the vision getting swapped over to the side of Temple City, or for the side of Forest Park, showing what they can see. They can see absolutely nothing near this pit. The closest ward that they have is that pink ward near the red pit. That's it. All of their vision is relegated to just outside of their base. They have no forward vision whatsoever. Temple City can do whatever they want on the map, and Forest Park will just not know about it.
Yeah. Forest Park, Baron is now over to Temple City. And when you have a Jinx and a Ziggs, you have really, really good siege as well. So Temple City are probably going to make short work of these turrets, especially with the Baron. And so for the other teams that are potentially going to be playing both these two teams, I think honestly, like this is just a statement from Temple City. They're looking at the other two teams, they're looking at the finals, and they're trying to tell Wooten and they're trying to tell Franklin that we are competition. You better be afraid. No matter what composition we play, no matter who our carry is, we can have everyone perform at a very high level.
Yeah, and that's something that the other teams, that they can't get complacent seeing Temple City play, because they are playing against Forest Park, who, like we touched on earlier, they're here because of disqualifications of other teams. But the other teams certainly, they can't just kind of write Temple City out and say, oh, they excelled in these games because they played Forest Park, who made it in those DQs. They can't get complacent in that regard. They need to go into the games acknowledging Temple City is a very competent enemy. And they really are just proving this. You can see just ripping through the base. Forest Park unable to do anything on the hunt pop. Porcupine gets locked down. That should be the end of that engage. Actually, Wonder Boy walks right up to the face of Johan. Gets burned out. Sadwall, very nice and almost too late. Wild Growth comes across, keeps him alive for a little bit, but Johan finds that double kill. Can he find more? Yeah, this is Temple City looking for the final push. That's a triple kill. Can he get the Quadra? Swimbirds, he gets locked down. There's the Quadra. Can he get a Penta? I don't think Vodkevs is going to give it to him. He's just going to go ahead and sit in the fountain, but that's going to be the forfeit as they surrender the game. And Temple City with a 2-0 victory. They're going to go on to the finals. They knock out Forest Park.
And Temple City, man, oh man. The first game was close. However, in the end, they sort of took it out and they just kind of ran away with the game. However, they made so many adaptations. Did we even notice like a single real mistake they made that game?
Not really. They played pretty phenomenally throughout that entire last game. Very few opportunities for Forest Park to even try to come back.
Right.
Even with that hyper-scaling composition that they had, with that protective composition that they had, the Lulu with the Wild Growth, the Janna with the Eye of the Storm Shield, just not able to offer enough protection to keep Swimbirds alive in that mid lane. and he just couldn't carry it. So very well played by Temple City, net themselves that win, and they will move on to the finals tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah. That being said, Forest Park isn't out of it yet. There is still the third place game to play, and they definitely had some really, really good moments. So I like to see them sort of pick themselves up and come back in the consolation game. But I think that's going to be it for us. For now, we're going to go to the next game is Franklin and Wooten High School.
Yeah, I will be bowing out here. Brian Crusader Kitten Trung is actually going to be jumping on the desk in my stead, but I will see you guys tomorrow for the finals. Before we go to our quick little break as we swap these teams out, of course, we want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, Twitch TV, Newegg, MSI. We have Roccat, Jinx Apparel, Tespa. And, of course, we also have to thank the LA County Parks and Recreation Division for allowing us to, secure this this venue for the event. Very appreciative of them. They've been an immense help in setting all of this up and making it possible. But that's going to be it for me. When we come back, we have our next game. Like you said, it's Franklin High School versus Thomas S. Wooten High School. And we'll see who's going to advance onto the finals and who will be playing against Forest Park in that third place game. So don't go anywhere. Plenty more League of Legends action here.